we are seeing, we haven't talked about the others for a while. This group of managed money hedge fund, family offices or sovereign wealth funds. We've talked at length about the role they've had over the last few years in proactively pulling metal off of the exchanges, and this last reporting month for deliveries into the August contract has been incredible. We saw this year this month a total of 103,079 contracts delivered for 10,307,900 ounces, or 321 metric tons of gold delivered off of COMEX to these other reportables this month. Extraordinary amount. And it's interesting. We've also talked about how the commercial banks, again, all talking about doing things before everyone runs out the door at once. The commercial banks seem to not only have, as we've talked about, have they dwindled down their short position to the lowest level in the history of the COMEX. It seems that they're also trying to take possession of metal and do it in a way that's somewhat a little bit more clandestine. If we look at the numbers out of SLV in terms of what they've delivered out of SLV, it's remarkable. 20 million ounces this week were delivered off of SLV, 60 million over the past month, and 100 million over the past 4 months, coinciding with the drawdown in not only their short position, but also the price of silver. And it's truly remarkable how the commercials have rigged the silver prices lower over the last 5 months to achieve what is such a stark contrast to the positions that they've had for so long, namely the smallest short position they've ever had in the history of the market. It's very, very bullish backdrop right now, and the big money seems to be aware of perhaps how important it is to get out in front of the crowd. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, we've talked a lot about the gold to silver ratio, and people who have purchased silver ultimately with the intention of owning gold. I want you to understand how fast it can really move. Just in the last week alone, we've seen the ratio fall by almost 7 points in favor of silver. It was 94-1, and now it's roughly 86-1. So, when silver starts to move, it will be in a magnificent fashion in terms of the speed in which I think it will try and catch up to gold as it's been lagging and underperforming. But I think the thing to take away from this is, in looking at what the commercial banks have done and looking what the other reportables are doing, you're seeing a real strong push right now in concert with the drawdown in the short position to take delivery. I don't know if that's a whole lot more bullish to what I've been saying about the likelihood that the commercial banks have set a bear trap for the hedge funds and are waiting for the price to rise, only not to short it this time, to let it go higher. And maybe this is why they're taking huge deliveries off the exchange right now and backdooring things out of SLV. I just think the hour is drawing nearer to us being right. And, it's fair to admit, in some respects we have been right, in others we have been early. And I don't know if that means being wrong, but to a degree, maybe it does. But I think this is one of those deals where you have to be early. If not, you'll be very lucky that you timed it just right. There are too many factors, I think, against us right now, such as the inability to pull money swiftly out of our accounts, the inability of these financial intermediaries to cooperate or to not lose the check that we send, and the ability to get product while big money is front-running delivery when no one's looking. So I would just simply say that when I take a step back and look at this from a macro perspective, in the light of everything that I've been talking about, I just see things accelerating very quietly, very, very privately, behind the scenes, but they all seem to support the same thing, and that is a widening awareness of the need to de-dollarize, to de-leverage, to take physical possession, to remove counterparty risk, and to do all of the things that are so important. I think if you wait and are trying to achieve this at just in time at the 12th hour, there's a 50-50 chance or better that it will fail, just based upon how much things are accelerating, the size of orders that we're seeing, and the movements of the commercial banks in this case. So interesting times, to say the least, Dunnigan. And I I think we are going to continue to say that things are just becoming more and more interesting and more and more rapidly changing. The way things are unfolding. And I don't know, when you look at what's happening with all of the central banks moving away from the dollar, only speeding things up, I have a feeling that this fall is going to be a pivotal time in this industry. Maybe more interesting, more exciting, and more challenging than anything we've seen yet over the last 2 years, which would be hard to top. But the things that I see now are much more significant than the things we've had to deal with in terms of the pandemic and all of the challenges that have personally, I think this is going to broaden into a much bigger deal as it pertains to the dollar, to the markets, and to the de-dollarization by the biggest money in the world. So I don't know. Time to buckle up, I think. Time to button things down and get your house in order. You can see a lot of the big money is doing that ahead of the curve.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race. You're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.